Hello, this is Iris, and welcome to Parapopulous. And today's story, Spooky Storeroom. Well, it's not actually a story. It's a news article that appeared in the mirror.co.uk on August 7th of 2015. And this gentleman, Mr. Lowe, was out getting some more pictures for a book he was working on. And lovely historic site, Newark Castle, at St. Monans in Fife. Forgive me if I said any of that wrong. I probably did. It was overcast. He went with his companion and their dog, who were apparently, according to him, out of sight. You see this figure. There's a bit of a film anomaly as well. Is it still a film anomaly, even if it's digital? I mean, does it still count? Digital anomaly? I don't know. There was an anomaly on the picture. There we go. And it appears that there's a figure walking in to what would have been the storeroom of the castle, with the kitchen to the left of it. And, it easily could be a recording, just, things that just replay and replay, or it could be a true haunting. Or, this could be his companion who he didn't realize was over there and didn't have on a red sweater or skirt or whatever this is. The person looks like they have something in their hands, which is what's kind of telling about this. And by the way, all the links are going to be in the description, so you can go back to the original blog post and then you can link to the original article and see for yourself. The thing that gets me, when you look at this picture is, okay, it could be his companion. Fine. I'll give you that. But there's this really weird anomaly that appears with this figure. And this figure seems to have something in their hands, which I actually didn't notice till now. The red really throws me off. But, if you were a fisherman's wife at that point, it's a possibility. Not because of the blood from the fish or anything, but just because, this could have been like an underskirt or an apron over something. They definitely have their sleeves rolled up. The rest of the clothing looks very plain, and they actually appear like they might have a hood. I'm trying to gesture to show you guys this, but you can't see that. So, the head area is kind of hard to make out, truthfully. And even the hands, I would expect if it was a companion of his, you'd see these arms clear, but they're almost kind of fuzzy. And it just really appears that they have something in their right hand, and it's quite substantial looking, which is quite intriguing. But they're definitely in the right spot if they were a castle worker. The thing is this castle, it dates back to the 13th century. So, it's a crapshoot, really, what time period this would be from if this was a haunting or a recording where it's just an action that's trapped in time and it's repeated and repeated and repeated and there's no intelligent interaction. A haunting is where there's an actual interaction and you could ask a question and get an answer, or they could respond to you in some way. So it's not a memory. It's an actual live thing happening. I don't know, they're not really a person, it's a spirit, it's a ghost. I don't know what you guys want to call it. Call it what you want to, but that's the difference, if you didn't know, which you might. I'm sure you did if you're already listening to a podcast like this. But just stating what it is, this is apparently pantry next to the kitchen, and it apparently looks like how the fisherwomen, isn't that a great word? The fisherwomen dressed. I'm gonna, I don't see a dog. I would assume the dog would have been with them. Now I'm looking at the picture, I'm trying to make sure, do I see anything weird? Do I see anything that looks... okay, let's say this isn't a haunting. Let's just say this dude who's writing a book on this area went to this castle and needed to get pictures for his book. Can we just deal with the fact that this is a castle that is 100 yards from the sea? and it has been around since the 13th century. Apparently, Scottish King Alexander III spent some of his childhood there. And it's been built and rebuilt, and the ownership has obviously changed. But can we just deal with that history? I mean, that history alone is pretty friggin' sweet. And I'm a history buff. So, I mean, I love history. So right here, I mean, fine. Let's just blow off the fact that this might be a ghost. This is probably just his companion with the dog. And I don't know, some kind of... I mean, if it weren't for the red, I'd say something, a trick of the eye. But it's definitely not a trick of the eye. Like, let's just... I mean, seriously, how cool? You know what I mean? Like, how cool is it? And I mean, the flaw in the picture, is that an energy rift opening up? Is it just a shadow? Is it, I mean, there's so many things. Because we weren't there, we can't say, okay, you know what, for sure your companion was wearing a red sweater and they must have tied it around their waist and you didn't realize it, or the inside of their jacket was red and they tied it around their waist and you didn't realize it. Because clearly, if it's a ghost, you've got to be crazy. I mean, we can go with that argument. And it's a fine argument. I'm not going to at all poo-poo you for it. So, I mean, if that's your take on it, let's go with the history. Let's look at how beyond amazing that it would be to be in this location. And just near that history. And I can't put it into words, the kind of feeling that history has for me. But, I mean, I was a kid who grew up looking at books on the Titanic and Egypt. And, I mean, that was fabulous to me. I could not get enough of that. And then going and looking at Elizabethan times and things like that. I mean, that was like candy to me. I loved that. I was a reader, still am, which maybe helps. But, I mean, let's just deal with that history factor of it. I mean, when you look at history, you have to kind of say, well, in all those years of people that lived there and died there and the emotional ups and downs and activities that would have gone on there. I mean, how implausible is it to not believe that your energy isn't left somewhere? I personally am a believer of energy. I can pick up on people's energies a little too easily, and I will go out in a perfectly decent mood and come back in a perfectly miserable mood. And it will take 5 seconds of walking by the wrong person who's in a really crappy mood. So I will tell you that I believe energy radiates. And looking at this building, it's all stone. I mean, if stone, or particular types of stone, or things that are by moving water, seem to hold energies better. I mean, is this place not in the perfect location? Is the fact that the ownership, some of the owners, would have had involvement in different, English and Scottish wars. I mean, how much energy has to be there for that alone? So, I mean, I know I'm reaching for some of you. History is history. Focus on the history. How fabulous is it? Seriously, fabulous. And the book, by the way, that Mr. Lowe is writing is going to be entitled The Weem Witch, W-E-E-M. And it's going to be out 2016, according to this original article. Just thought I'd mention that while we're here. I'm not affiliated, but I just, good plug. Why not? So if you're just history for history's sake, that's great. Look at this picture. Appreciate the stonework. Appreciate the fact that this is still standing, and it's been here since the 13th century. That's quality workmanship. That's all I'm saying. And it's by the sea, near the storms. Holy crap. Good build. I mean, you can't argue that. I mean, it's a little rubbly right now, but I mean, things happen, right? So, things happen. Wow, only on my podcast does that come up as a justification for old buildings that are kind of rickety. I mean, it's an old castle. It's not an old building, but anyways. Oh, man. Only on mine. But, I mean, thinking that you are more than a body, thinking that energy has power, And, you know, I mean, it only takes thinking about a memory that has impact on you to make you feel a different way, or a song. So, I mean, who's to say that this isn't an energy anomaly and a repeat of history or a recording or something? Is it really that far to honestly reach and grasp that idea? I don't think so. Think on that for a while. Have a look at the pictures, because I mean the castle is fabulous. And I mean, we can ignore the fact it's a ghost or not. But in the meantime, boo, we'll be back in a few. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again next Monday. And tune in on Thursday for the blog, so you can get a sneak peek ahead.